Hi there, thank you so much again for joining me on this channel. As always, I'm very grateful for all your previous views, likes, subscriptions and shares. And welcome to the new basement, cellar, underground dwelling. I'm very lucky to have a new place to be doing this channel from. Apologies for the bare walls, slightly strange acoustics as I get used to this new environment. It is Pride Month and we should be looking at those religious pioneers who have made a big contribution to the LGBTQIA+ community. These are extraordinary individuals we will look at in alphabetical order according to the religion that they belong to give parity of esteem. Our first pioneer comes from the Buddhist tradition. Our pioneer is based in Thailand, country in Southeast Asia, bordered by Myanmar, Laos and Cambodia. Shine Waradhamo is our pioneer, wearing the traditional orange robes from the Theravada Buddhist tradition. Interestingly enough, Thailand has a strong foundation to support individuals in same-sex relationships. It was decriminalised in the 1950s, and according to a United Nations survey, about 2/3 of the population support those in same-sex relationships. Of course, that doesn't mean there still isn't discrimination, for example, in its public services. And Shine is someone who has a great deal of influence despite not wielding any sort of political power. Shine is drawing attention to the fact that this discrimination is still occurring and trying to make sure that the issue is at the forefront in Thai society. There's a lovely quote from Shine who says, "I think it helps them," as in those from the LGBTQIA+ community, "to see a monk who is friendly and gives them an interpretation of the Buddhist religion that supports them." Visibility matters. And I think it's really striking, isn't it, how if you do see someone from a community that you feel is underrepresented in a position of influence, that can be really inspiring and also very, very empowering. Our next pioneer is from Christianity. This is Jane Zahn, a Channel Islander, a gifted mathematician and hugely influential in the Church of England when it comes to being an advocate for those in the LGBTQIA+ community. Now, Jane is a member of what's known as the General Synod. A synod is a collective noun for a group of clergy, a bit like a pride of lions or a murder of crows. The General Synod is responsible for the running and the mechanics of the Church of England. Jane is currently in her second spell at the General Synod and is using it as a platform to speak out on those who feel marginalised in that community. Earlier this year, the Synod discussed at great length whether it should bless same-sex relations and the status of marriage in its churches. During these very long discussions, Jane, who describes herself on her website as unashamedly gay and unashamedly Christian, said this: "We've had numerous apologies, words, and words, but we have had absolutely no action to stop this ongoing discrimination and abuse. We continue to teach a doctrine of theology of difference that tells people like me that we are second class and that our understanding of the Holy Scriptures is unchristian." Powerful and striking words. One of the things that Jane is highlighting is how, as a gay Christian, she feels an institution that she's part of, the Church of England, treats her and others as though they are second-class citizens. Jane's voice is making a huge significance in the Church of England. Hinduism now, and our next religious pioneer is Anish Kumar Pathak. Now, Anish is a young Hindu. Well, at my age, everyone looks young. And he featured in a BBC documentary series called Love, Faith and Me. It's a very, very personal story where he talks about the process of discovering his faith and coming out as gay during his time at university. And we see him visit an inclusive mandir, meet a Hindu same-sex couple who have adopted a child, and he even visits his old school to talk about his experiences. In the show, we learn about an organisation called the Naz and Matt Foundation. The foundation works with those from the LGBTQIA plus community who come from religious families and communities. As they say on their website, our mission is to never let any religion, come in the way of the unconditional love between parents and their children. In the show, there is a lovely quote from Anish where he says, "With my hand on my heart, I can now come out and say that I finally celebrate being Hindu and gay." It's very moving to hear how Anish has reconciled what he thought were two things that could never be reconciled: his faith and his sexuality. Our next religious pioneer is from the tradition of Islam. This is Mardia Lynn. And in an interview, she talks about where she was placed. She was born in Detroit, which is well known in the United States for its car manufacturing. She grew up in union halls when there were discussions about what is fair and workers' rights and so forth. She came out as transgender at 18 and then converted to Islam in her 20s. And since then, she has been campaigning for those in the Islamic community from the LGBTQIA plus community. In the city of Chicago, she set up with some other like-minded individuals an inclusive mosque. The range of projects is quite extraordinary, but I was particularly drawn to how one of the groups that she's supporting are Muslims who find themselves in prison. I love how it says on the website too that we've created a faith justice space. In an interview, she says this: "I was not good at being a human being. I was just not understanding what my place in the world was, who to be, how to live, what to do. Islam gave me an understanding and an order." It's really striking, isn't it, how she says that Islam has given her a strong foundation, a sense of security, and a sense of who she is. Our next pioneer is from Judaism. This is Rabbi Lisa Grushkow. Of her many achievements, one of them was to be the first openly gay rabbi of a large synagogue in Canada. Lisa was studying at Oxford University, studying religion, and she realised that actually she had fallen in love with another woman. In an interview, she reflects on this and says, "Coming out brought me closer to God." There's a fascinating article with Lisa from the New York Times, and I pulled this section from it. And while some Orthodox scholars argue that transgender identity is incompatible with Judaism since God doesn't make mistakes, she, as in Lisa, countered that the Talmud, an ancient Jewish text, did not limit gender to male or female. "In the Jewish tradition, we aren't born who we become," she said. It's a really rich response, isn't it? We aren't born who we become. And I think it's a reminder that when we are in this world, there are so many things that can influence us and so many things for us that we need to figure out. Our next pioneer represents the Sikhi faith. Jasbir Singh is a media commentator, activist, and a barrister. He's also the co-founder of South Asian Heritage Month. Jasbir is involved in working for an organisation called the Kaleidoscope International Trust. In just over 30 countries across the world, there are anti-gay laws. And these are countries that used to be run by Britain as part of its empire, what we call now the Commonwealth. These laws have yet to be taken away or altered in any way, shape or form, and it's causing a great deal of harm to those in the LGBTQIA plus community. Kaleidoscope raises awareness of these issues in these countries. It's a reminder that actions and attitudes from the past can still filter through today, and that there's still a lot of work to be done in order to change those attitudes and laws. Jasbir also made the news this year when he spoke about his Sikh gay wedding and some of the challenges that he faced going through that process with his husband. Jasbir says this: "My faith has been a constant in my life through good times and bad. I'm not going to waver from my faith, but I'm also not going to be ashamed of my sexuality." And it's a reminder that actually visibility matters, and how he has been a role model to those in the Sikh community. Thank you for your patience as I get used to my new environment. And as always, however you celebrate Pride Month, I do hope that it goes well. I will see you at some point in the future. I'm not sure when. I'm still getting used to my new settings. But thank you so much for watching. And if you are able to, please do like, comment and subscribe and enjoy your learning.